Okay, everybody, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to bring in our first asset pack and we're going to start building a little bit so we can start making some things that look a tiny bit more like a game, but this is going to be a prototyping pack. Okay, so let's go ahead and get you into that space. So first thing you got to do is you're going to need to go out and find the prototyping pack. In this case, our prototyping pack is going to be on Lime. So we're going to go out to Echo. Here's our fundamentals of computer science space on Echo, and then you'll have a 3D repository area. Inside of that space is the Polygon prototype file. That's the one I want you to download. So we'll click on that. And as soon as we do, it should start running for us. So let me go ahead and hit this in a different fashion. This is the teacher version right here. So this is where we edit things. Let me go on to more of what you're going to see today. And here's our 3D repository. And then when I click on that, it'll expand. And now we see the actual file. Here it is. It should come down really quickly. It's only about 46 megabytes. And so that should end up on your computer pretty quickly. So now you see this zipped up file right here. A zipped up file is something that's been compressed. So before we use it, we have to uncompress it. Okay, so we're going to go into where we find this. Now usually when you download things, they're going to go to your downloads folder. I just went into the file explorer here and I'll go over to the downloads folder, and here we have it right here, Polygon prototype Unreal. If yours doesn't have the little 1 on the end of it, that's okay. That just means that there's a copy of this. I've already got it on here. And so what we want to do is we're going to right click on this. We're going to go to extract files. Now I have this icon here because I also have WinRAR installed, and that is another unzipping and zipping kind of program. But for y'all, you actually have a zipping and unzipping program on there, and we can just use extract files. Now we want this to go to your project file. Okay, so now you can see everything right here. You can see the drives, you can see the C drive, D drive, everything there. And let's go into the D drive. That's where your project should be. We're looking at third fundamental right there. And let's open it up. Now what we want this to do is we want it to go into the third fund initially when it extracts it. This is where we want it to go. We don't want it to go into your project file yet because we're going to put something a little bit different in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to process all that. We're going to go over to our D drive. Let's go in and find our third fund folder. And here we have it, Polygon prototype right here. So now what we need to do is we're going to need to have 2 windows open. To do that, you're going to hold Control and press N. That's going to open up another File Explorer window. And what I want to have in one of them, I want to go and open up my file for my game. Okay, this is often how you guys are starting your game now, is clicking on the project file in your folder. And then we also want to go into the Polygon prototype folder, and you'll see it has an Unreal project file in there as well. We really don't want to do this one big mistake that I have seen some people do in the past. They'll go in here and they'll just drag the entire asset folder right into their project. And because there is another project inside of that, that can cause problems with your project. And oftentimes people have had to restart their project. So make sure you don't do that. The file that we want to get, the folder we want to get, is inside the content folder, and it's actually called Polygon prototype as well. Okay, so inside this you'll find all of the content information that we need. So we want to grab this folder and we're going to put it into our content folder in our project. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to click and hold. We're going to drag it over and we should highlight the content folder and drop it. Okay, now it's a very small folder, so you're not going to see it really say anything about like loading it up. Here we have the Polygon prototype folder here. And now we just need to check and see if it all came in without any trouble. So we can load up our project, go down to our content drawer, let's go to content, and we should see our Polygon prototype folder. Now, if you go into it and it looks like this, don't worry, it's okay. What we need to do is just restart our project. So if you've been working on anything, make sure you save what you're working on, close that project. Then we're going to go back to our project, just like we've done in the past. Mine is TyH Lab. We're going to go ahead and kick that off, and then when it loads again, we're going to see that our Polygon prototype assets are all there, all the meshes have loaded, everything's ready to go. Okay, so we'll just give it a little second here to load everything up. You may even see down at the bottom here where it says loading, you may see some of the Polygon prototype files loading in. All right, everything's looking pretty good. And let's check our content drawer. Okay, so in our content drawer, we have our polygon prototype stuff now. We go into it, we can see maps, materials, meshes, all these kind of things. So first thing to really check to make sure you have everything, go into your meshes and just click on any of these folders. You should see some meshes inside of here that we're going to be using as we start prototyping our levels and start learning a little more about computer science. So what I'd like for you to do is we need to make a new level that we're going to start off in instead of this one that we have that's kind of blank. Okay? So in your assignment, I actually have you making a new map, but I also want you to set that map as the new map that you start off in. Now, to just kind of show you as a demonstration, any of the asset packs we use with Cinti also have maps inside of them. Usually they'll have a demonstration map and they'll have an overview map. The overview map just shows you everything that's in the pack and how it can be utilized. It may have some special effects in there, but everything's kind of laid out in rows so you can see it easily. Now the demonstration map is something that has all the assets actually being used. Okay, so this is a prototype map right here. And you guys can look at this one if you'd like. We're going to build something similar to this, and I'm going to show you how to set this map as your map that loads up whenever you start the game. But I'm going to have you in your assignment build a completely different map and have that be the one that loads up whenever you start your game. Okay, so for this one, I want to show you how to make this demo map your starting map. Okay, to do that, we're going to go up to Edit, we're going to go to Project Settings, and then you're going to see your project settings pop up. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, the main one that we're mostly going to be working with a lot of times when we come into our project settings is actually over here under Maps and Modes. Okay, so you should look over here under Project, Description, Encryption, Gameplay Tags, and then we'll click on Maps and Modes. Okay, now you can see which map is going to come up whenever you start your editor. Right here we're starting with the minimal default, which is the one we started building in previously. And what we want to find is the demonstration map. So if you're looking through here and you're like, man, I am just not finding it. So let's go in and type in demo. Okay, there's one demonstration map currently. We're going to make that our map. Now remember, in your assignment, you're not setting the demonstration map as your map that you'll load up. You're going to set up your map that you're going to create based on the assignment as your startup and game default map. Okay, once you set both of these as your startup map, there's nothing else to really do. You don't have to save or anything like that. We're just going to hit X up here on the tab to close that out. I'm going to go back to this. Let's save it. Go ahead and save everything you have. I'll close this, and now I'm going to launch the same project again, and we'll let this load up. And as we go into it, this is going to load our map that we've chosen for the project to load into first. Okay, this is important because if you want to start a project and something that you want to put out or have anybody play with, you need to make sure it launches the first map, the one that you want them to interact with first. Okay, and here we are in our demo map. This is the one that we asked for the editor to load up initially. Okay, so this is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, well, go ahead and check your assignment. It will have the specs on the new map that you're going to create, and let's set that as your demo map as part of your assignment. I'm sorry, as your default map as part of your assignment.